The Green Bay City Council approves a contract to remove the Heritage Trail Plaza. The city will pay Myron Construction $109,000 to make that removal. New locations for the plaza will now be further explored with potential landing spots, including the Neville Public Museum, which is the first location on the Heritage Trail City Walk, and the Packers Plaza on the corner of Main and Adams Streets by the KI Convention Center. As we reported, a luxury apartment complex project is set to break ground on the corner of North Washington and Cherry Streets. This led to an agreement between the city and the Packers to relocate the plaza. The removal of the plaza is expected in the coming weeks.